Being articulate is a game changer in how we connect with others. It's not just about speaking clearly or using big words. It's about conveying our ideas in a way that resonates with others. But what if the very foundation of how we communicate is a lie? What if the endless stream of words, the polished small talk, the frantic search for the right thing to say, is nothing but a desperate noise we make to conceal a terrifying silence? Not the silence of an empty room, but the silence within you, a chasm where a truly unique voice should be. We are taught that articulation is a skill of addition, more vocabulary, more confidence, more techniques. But what if the secret, the one known only to a rare few, is an act of brutal subtraction? This is the unsettling paradox. True clarity is not born from filling the void with sound, but from having the courage to first confront the void itself. Most people are not speaking from a place of deep conviction, but from a place of deep fear, the fear of being insignificant, of being misunderstood, of the profound solitude that comes with genuine thought. So you find yourself recycling the opinions of your social circle, the slogans of advertisers, the pre-packaged emotions of a culture terrified of looking into the abyss. Your language becomes a shield, not a sword. It protects you from the vulnerability of having a thought that is entirely, unapologetically your own. But what is the source of this collective cowardice? What force, so deeply embedded in our psychology, compels us to prefer the safety of the echo over the perilous freedom of an authentic voice? The answer lies not in a speech class, but in a confrontation with a hidden monster we all carry inside. This hidden force is not a simple lack of confidence. It is a philosophical and psychological cage, meticulously constructed by what Friedrich Nietzsche called the herd mentality. You are not merely repeating others' words. You are performing a survival ritual. For the herd, the goal is not truth or authenticity, but comfort and belonging. To articulate a thought that disrupts the collective consensus is to risk exile. So you learn to soften your edges, to swallow your most potent questions, to trade the raw, unhewn ore of your genuine perception for the polished, worthless currency of social approval. Carl Jung would point to the shadow, the vast, unexplored territory of your own psyche that houses everything you have been taught to repress: your anger, your unconventional desires, your dangerous insights. Your language becomes superficial because you are forbidden from speaking from this shadowland. You are an actor on a brightly lit stage, reading from a script you did not write, terrified of what might happen if you were to step off the stage and speak from the darkness of the wings. This is the great psychological trade. You sacrifice your articulate power for the illusion of safety. But this safety is a lie, and the cost is your identity. You become a ghost in your own life, haunting the conversations you are too afraid to truly inhabit. The consequence of this self-betrayal, however, is far more insidious and corrosive than mere social awkwardness. It is a quiet, psychological death that manifests in every corner of your existence. The consequence of this self-betrayal is a quiet, psychological death that manifests in every corner of your existence. You feel it in the frustration of a conversation that never quite touches anything real, in the gnawing sense that you are a spectator to your own life. This is the unseen trap, a neurological and cultural conditioning that systematically dulls your inner world. Your brain, wired for efficiency, defaults to well-worn neural pathways of cliché and borrowed sentiment. You think you are expressing a thought, but you are merely recalling a sequence of words you've encountered before, a cognitive script written by the herd. This is the brave new world that Aldous Huxley warned of, not a dystopia of overt control, but one of sedated contentment. You are conditioned to prefer the comfort of the familiar phrase over the disruptive power of the true one. Your relationships remain transactional, your conflicts unresolved at their core, because the language you use is incapable of conveying the subtle, chaotic, and unique landscape of your actual experience. You are left with a vague, pervasive anxiety, the feeling of being disconnected not from others, but from yourself. The very fabric of your reality becomes thin and impersonal. But if this is the cage, what is the key? Is it even possible to shatter this conditioning, to rebel against the very architecture of your own mind and reclaim the voice that was stolen from you? The rebellion begins not with speaking, but with a violent and deliberate silence. It begins where you are most afraid to go, into the solitude of your own unfiltered mind. This is the radical shift. To become truly articulate, you must first cease the performance. You must, as Nietzsche proclaimed, become what you are. This is not an act of adding new words, but of dismantling the old ones. It requires a philosophical courage to question every inherited idea, to hold your own thoughts up to the searing light of scrutiny and ask, is this truly what I believe? Or is this what I was taught to believe? This is the counterintuitive path of the sovereign individual. It is the embrace of what Viktor Frankl identified as the space between stimulus and response. In that space lies your freedom and your power to choose your own meaning. You must willingly descend into the shadowlands Carl Jung described, to converse with the rejected parts of yourself, your anger, your passion, your peculiar obsessions. This is the raw material of an authentic voice. It is from this confrontation that a new language is born, forged in the fires of personal truth, rather than borrowed from the cold ashes of convention. You stop speaking at people and begin speaking from your core. But this rebellion leads to a final staggering realization about the very nature of reality and your place within it. What is the ultimate truth that makes this struggle not just worthwhile, but the most important undertaking of your life? The ultimate truth is this: your struggle for articulation is not merely a social skill, it is the fundamental act of creating your soul. The world does not hand you a preformed self. You must carve it out of the chaos of experience through language. Every time you choose the precise, authentic word over the convenient, borrowed phrase, you are not just describing reality. You are building the architecture of your own consciousness. Friedrich Nietzsche saw this as the will to power in its highest form. The relentless drive to impose your unique meaning onto a meaningless universe, to become the poet of your own existence. This is the paradigm shift. The clarity you seek in your speech is a reflection of the clarity you have forged in your inner life. The power to articulate is the power to define what is real for you. It is how you transform pain into purpose, confusion into a question worth pursuing, and a fleeting moment into a timeless insight. Your voice, when finally unleashed from the herd, becomes a force of nature. It can shatter old worlds and build new ones. So do not seek to be heard. Seek to be so utterly, unshakably true to the depths of your own being that your words carry the weight of a universe. For in the end, you are not a speaker searching for a message. You are the message, and your life is its articulation. If you've had a moment where you felt super articulate, or, on the contrary, totally tongue-tied, share your story with me in the comments below. Also, check out my other video on effective communication skills. I think you'll find it really helpful in your journey to becoming a more confident communicator.